Good morning, as it's 8:30, we'll call to order the Welfare Subcommittee meeting. Please note that Councillor Boone is not in attendance, but we do have a quorum with Councillor Heath and myself. Is anybody recording this meeting? Okay. First order of business will be the approval of the minutes of the previous meetings. I do want to note that the minutes that we're approving are for June 7th, 2021, which was the budget for FY22. The minutes of March 8th, 2022 and June 14th, 2022. I was not on the committee for these meetings. However, Councillor Boone was present for June 7th. Councillor Heath was present for March 8th, which took place at the Senior Center and was a presentation on for the Senior Center and Counseling on Aging program. And June 14th was the presentation, the budget presentations for the city. So as I was not present, and Councillor Heath was not present for June 7th, 2021, we are allowed to watch the video recordings of these meetings in order to approve these minutes. So I did watch all three. Did you watch the one that you? I watched it. Okay. So I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes from June 7th, 2021, March 8th, 2022, and June 7th, 2022.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. So
moved. The first item is 10890. The summary of this amendment is the Council of Aging has requested to amend to refer to the Council of the Golden Ages Club and the AARP chapter of Section 2 of Chapter 13 of the Code of the City of Gardner entitled Member to eliminate the requirement to a designated representative of the AARP and the Golden Age Club to have a seat on the Council of Aging. Mayor Nicholson and Mr. Ellis.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. This is just something to clean up how the membership of the Council on Aging goes. Right now, under the current ordinances, the Golden Agers President and the AARP President both have a permanent voting seat on the Council on Aging, with the remaining 5 being appointed by myself, confirmed by the City Council at the request of the Council on Aging itself, since the majority of the Council on Aging members are members of both the Golden Agers and the AARP groups, and as a way to make it so that those who are voting and have full voting rights on our public boards and commissions go through the same public process that everyone else, accountable to those of us who are elected by the citizens to represent them and appoint these people on their behalf, go through the same process. So that's why this is being proposed, and if there's any other questions, happy to answer those as well.
This won't do anything to change the current makeup, I think.
No. No.
Okay. So I will make a motion to recommend to the City Council to amend the requirement of the Council of Aging Board.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. The next item is item 10891. To amend the Code of the City of Gardner, Chapter 675, entitled Zoning along Route 140 from Rural Resident 2 to Commercial 2 for 12 parcels of land situated northerly and southerly from Green Street to the Wichita Town Line. The total area proposed is approximately 462.5 acres. Mayor Nicholson.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. This is something that we've been looking at with relation to the growth that the city has seen in recent years. With the amount of private investment that's occurred in the city and things of that nature, as well as traffic concerns in the area. There is a 2010 study from the Montezuma Regional Planning Commission included in the packet with this item that talks about how, with the amount of vacant land that is in that area of the city, and with the current zoning of the location, with the minimum lot sizes there, we could have close to 790 new single-family homes in that area. While the city is one of the biggest landowners in that area, we should also not only be taking into account the safety concerns that have come up from the traffic accidents that have happened in that area, but also smart growth that's there. If there is a new commercial enterprise that wants to come in or something like that in the city, we want to at least have the option to offer the locations that are there. But that would at least give it, this zoning change would give us that control more, because right now with residential locations, we don't have any say over site plan approval as we do as a commercial or industrial location, in terms of how traffic patterns can be laid out, if there's any traffic control systems, things of that nature, which adding 700 single-family driveways would have no control over us besides a permit from the city engineer, versus if there was a commercial enterprise out there, it would have to go through planning board site plan approval, it would have to go through a whole different process of permitting and everything else like that. That would really give us a better control on that. Now, we can do those for either commercial properties or industrial properties, but where a lot of these parcels do border watershed land, I didn't think it was good to put industrial designations in places that are that close to watershed land, so that's why we're looking at commercial too for this one. And we do have several department heads here who can relay their thoughts on the matter as well.
My question was, are there currently any developments, any plans to bring in commercials? Is there anything in the works right now?
We're always looking at potential commercial enterprises. If you remember last year, we did get a grant from the Commonwealth One-Stop Program to look further up on 140 for a potential industrial park off of Matthew Street at the former Hills property. We are constantly looking and reaching out for there, and if one comes up, we'll be sure to let you know. But really, this is just planning ahead for if someone would be interested in purchasing anything in the future.
The land from Green Street, like towards the 140, 101 Pearl intersection.
Yes.
There's land for sale right now in that area. Would that
So
property be affected?
No.
No.
Not from Green to 101.
Okay.
From Green to Winchendon would be. While we are looking at doing an industrial park potentially through this study that we got from the Commonwealth on the 101 side of Green Street by 140 where that land is for sale, that would require an additional zoning change, but that would be an industrial zoning change rather than a commercial zoning change.
I have no questions.
Okay. The one parcel that is cut out is the city forest. That is protected under Article 97 of the Commonwealth's Constitution as conservation land. So that's why if you look at the map, there is a chunk there, but it does have to be contiguous, otherwise it's considered spot zoning, but the corner of the far lot does connect to the top corner of the northern lot, and that's how we're able to take care of that.
So this is a motion, Councillor Heath, to refer to the planning board. And then from the planning board, they will eventually refer back to the city council, and this would eventually go to public hearing. That would be the process. Do you want to make a motion to refer to the planning board?
Motion, yes.
To refer to the planning board?
Yes.
Okay, I will second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And the last item is item 10892. This is an ordinance to amend the code of the City of Gardner, Chapter 675, entitled Zoning to add sports betting to the zoning table of uses. The ordinance is designated to be proactive in the case of such any sports betting facility would be coming to the city, since the legislation of sports betting in the Commonwealth went into law in 2022. Mayor Nicholson.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Exactly what you said. This has been signed into law last August and took effect for the preliminary stages of it 2 weeks ago. It is in phases throughout the year. There'll be different entities allowed to engage in sports betting. Right now it is focused just on the casinos, but as the year goes on, there are going to be additional facilities designated for that. This gives us the ability to make sure that it's zoned in the correct locations and adds it to the table of uses under indoor and outdoor amusement. It's already regulated in there as to what properties those can go into, and basically just keeps these locations out of residential neighborhoods.
And there are no current plans for, we don't know of this occurring.
There's no one who the city's signed a contract with or anything like that for these.
So this is just for the future?
Yeah, future planning. Future planning.
I tell you, for someone that just was in Vegas, just went to Encore over the weekend, it's for the future. It's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'd have to, with the state law, they'd have to enter into a host community agreement similar to the marijuana institutions that we have in the city too. We have not entered into any negotiations with anyone for those host community agreements. But that said, once something becomes legal, it's not long after that that they start reaching out to almost everyone in the state. So I wouldn't doubt if we do have someone reach out, but at least if at that point we start negotiating at that, we have everything in place ready to go.
I appreciate the fact you're being proactive on this, especially if anybody wants to put a dog track off of Green Street on the 40. You never know.
A lot of acres over there.
Yeah. I make a motion to refer this to the city council for passage. All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Councilor Heath, do you have any new business?
There's one more item, Madam Chair.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, yep. An ordinance to amend the code of the city of Gardner, chapter 675, therefore entitled zoning, to amend the 1070, therefore entitled marijuana establishments to increase, the quota allowed for the city of Gardner. A public hearing will be required. Mayor Nicholson.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. This is something that in 2019, when the original cannabis legislation was adopted by the Commonwealth, both through the voters at a ballot initiative question and through the state legislative amendments of that ballot initiative, Gardner limited the number of marijuana retail facilities that would be open in Gardner to 20% of our liquor licenses for the purpose of off-premise consumption. We have 10 for those. That's basically our package store licenses. Since we have 10, that limited us to 2. We've had 1 open since 2019 with Sanctuary over on Pearson Boulevard. We've got a second one who's had a host community agreement for quite some time. They have finally just pulled a building permit over in the Timpani Crossroads area with Block Cannabis Company over there. But with the new regulations that the Cannabis Control Commission is putting forward about how we can collect certain impact fees on these locations, this is really just a way to, one, let the market be the market and have a free market with competition and everything else, just like any other industry that we have here, in a way that still limits it, so we're not opening up a floodgate here, but just allowing the market to control itself, but also helps us financially if the Cannabis Control Commission does begin to limit the impact fee collections that we take in, which is seeming like they're going to be doing by the end of the year. Right now, we can collect a 3% sales tax on all cannabis products, and up to 3% of the company's gross income every year in an impact fee. Former Mayor Hawk negotiated only a 1% with Sanctuary and a 3% with our grow facilities, because Sanctuary was the second location to open up statewide, so we wanted to make sure that we were helping a business succeed early on, and that's why that was there. However, what's happening is there were several other locations across the Commonwealth, Fall River for the most prominent example of it, that were really taking advantage of this section of the general laws and really trying to use it as a way to extort these cannabis companies more than mitigate the impact that they were having on their communities. Therefore, it's one of those one bad egg spoils the bunch. The commission is looking at severely restricting or limiting what we are able to do with our impact fees that we collect. This wouldn't be retroactive to the contracts that we currently have, but will affect every renewal and contract going forward. So again, this is just another way for us to plan ahead if something would happen like that.
So the plan is to double from 2 to 4?
Yeah.
And I did notice that the chief, in his letter of support, that there haven't been any issues with Sanctuary.
Madam Chair, no. Other than mostly just general calls, alarms. I'm not saying there haven't been a few calls down there, but usually it's foot traffic going through the motel in the back or liquor establishments, things like that. So nothing of concern.
From my understanding, you guys do the sting operations, and there hasn't been any youth getting through the door.
No, Counselor. They're very strict. Again, the Cannabis Control Commission they regulate well. You can't even get through the front door. They card everybody at the front door. And
Awesome. That's awesome.
So, I make a motion that this goes to a public hearing.
To the
Second.
to the planning board.
I'm sorry, to the planning board for review and then to public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Approved. Okay, so we'll go back. Councilor Heath, do you have any new business?
I do not have any new business.
I do not have any. I just wanted to let the department chairs here who are present under the welfare committee. Our next meeting will be brief. It'll be March 9th at the golf course maintenance building at 4 o'clock. I just want to get updates from the department heads, and we're just going to look at the facility and see some of the newly acquired equipment that Bill Franks has. And then the welfare committee will have 2 budget meetings in April. One will be for the Montechusett Regional Vocational High School budget, and there'll be a separate one for the Gardner Public Schools budget. Those dates will be announced in the future. And then lastly, when the city budget is ready, May, June, we will have our budget hearing then. And other than that, there's no other new business today. Councilor Heath, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Second. Was it so moved?
So moved. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.